Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I say it every week. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. I am happy and grateful for you. And I want to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. You are created out of greatness. Okay. We are not here to be perfect. We are striving for perfection. But day to day, we continue to get up so that we can walk out our purpose. Our life is purpose. We're not looking for purpose. The fact that we are here gathering together, it just solidifies that there is purpose for your journey. And of course, I say this life is simple, but what's simple to do is also simple not to do. It's the journey that complexes it. All right. So, meal prep Monday. And I was thinking about last week. Anyone who was not able to catch it, please go back. And, in the midst of our call, life happened to me. But I understand that this life happens for me, not to me. So let me rephrase that. Life happened for me. And in the midst of that, you know, like I said, like there's always confirmation that this journey is predestined, it's preordained. Like nothing happens by chance or surprise to Jehovah God, just to us, even when we're going through trials or we're going through things that we didn't ask for, we didn't do to ourselves. There are some things that happen, and something I said at the end, I can't quote it, but it's been on my heart all week. From last week is when I said, like, something in the realm of we're victorious and we're not victims. I kind of want to expand on that in this Meal Prep Monday today, because I am not being insensitive that things happen that are out of our control, that are traumatic. Okay. And there are some things that we know are going to happen, like life and death. It's the cycle, right? But at the end of the day, when death comes to our door, when the sting of death penetrates us, it doesn't feel good. And we can know that that's the cycle of life, but it doesn't make it better in the moment. We understand that we don't grieve like the world, we grieve with hope, but we still have a process of feelings and emotions we have to go through. So when I said that, in spite of what happens to us, then there are some people that we've been disrespected, we've been violated, it's been out of our control. We were children, or someone may have taken advantage of us. Those things are real. So I don't ever want to seem like I'm being insensitive to that. But even in that, I still 110% know that this life happens for me, not to me. This life happens for us, not to us. And when we have situations, when we have trials and tribulations, Jehovah God tells us to count it all joy, every trial and tribulation. And it's not always easy to do that when we're in the midst of something, especially in a violation. All right. So I don't want to discredit that, but it is possible. All right. Because this is the thing, everything is perspective. All right. It's perspective. And even though you may be a victim of a situation, a victim of someone else's abuse, you are still victorious. You're victorious, okay? You have to be able to recognize what happened and process it in a healthy way, and you're still victorious. Something is popping in my head, but I'm not even going to go there. I just hope that I'm making sense. All right. We don't have to live in a victim mentality. All right. Situations happen, but It's mind over matter. And these things we hear all the time. And it's like, Nicole, you don't understand. I don't understand maybe your situation, but I do understand the battle in the mind, because we're all battled there. That's the only place we're battled. So it's mindset. We have to really learn how to shift our mindset. So here's the thing. To go above being in a victim mindset to being victorious, we have to do it by acknowledging the reality. Okay? And that's not easy. But this is why I keep saying every week, this life is simple. This life is created to be simple. All right? Seek ye first the kingdom. What's the simplicity of it? We are seeking our creator. We're seeking Jehovah God. We're learning us. We're being the best versions of us unapologetically. So we have to posture ourselves. All right? We submit to knowing. If you're in a relationship and you want to know something about someone, be it if it's friendship, be it if it's opposite sex, anything you want to know, you become relational. You spend time. You ask questions. You get an understanding. So we have to seek ye first the kingdom, the creator. All right? We're supernatural in this natural space. We're triune beings, all dual citizens. All right? If not a tri-citizen, but we're kingdom first. So that's the first thing, okay? You gotta be able to shift your perspective. You gotta start there, because even if something happens to you, you want to know why, especially when you're innocent in it. I just keep seeing like someone young, like just something happening to you. You know how like you're younger or you're smaller than someone? It doesn't even have to be age, but you're already kind of like at a disadvantage. That feeling is very uncomfortable. You are a victim of whatever the circumstance is, but we can be victorious in it. All right. I hope this makes sense. Meal Prep Monday. So here's the thing. We have to acknowledge what happened, okay? We have to be able to acknowledge it so that we can process it for ourselves. For ourselves. Even if someone disrespects you, if someone, violates you, if someone hurts you, you still are victorious over that situation and over that person. When you take it, it's never what we go through, it's how we choose to get through it. And you're able to acknowledge it because it is facts. It happened, right? You acknowledge it, but then you're able to supersede it because you don't allow that situation to identify you. Okay? We just had a situation happen with my granddaughter. And it was so out of character for her that when I saw her, because of course, Khadijah was like, oh, she's getting whipped. Okay, she's getting a whooping. And it's funny because my 52-year-old self wanted to tell her, like, don't whip her. Because I see that it's not who she is. It was so out of character for her. But then I had to be true to myself. And if that was me at 32 and it was Khadijah, I would have whooped her. Okay? So I didn't stop her from the whooping because that's her daughter. But I was like, Khadijah, just make sure you address the lie. Like, she gets caught. Just, it's the lie. It's not the situation. All right? So I say all that because we're going to stay victorious. When something happens, you don't allow that to identify you. That is not who you are. So, of course, I had to come in this Gigi. I didn't go that night. But, the next day I saw her and I'm like, look at me, because I eye contact. And I'm like, why did you do that? I don't know. And so I'm like, all right, if you don't know, who knows? But then it was like, I immediately was like, listen, that's not who you are. That's not you. Gave her the life lesson, but was very intentional to let her know that situation does not identify who you are. It does not take anything away from who you are, your true self. I love you. We love you. We're safe. But I did address that lying. You don't lie to your mom. All right. So I say all this because it's Meal Prep Monday. And I want us to understand that we really are victorious. All right. We were created victorious. We are not victims. Now, there are things that happen that we are victim to, but that is not who we are. Okay. That's not who we are. So listen. All right. So you don't allow it to identify you. And then own what you can control. This is the thing. When things happen, and I'm saying this because it's Meal Prep Monday. I want you to understand that life happens for you. It does not happen to you. Situations come and go. So it's not what we go through, it's how we choose to get through it. That's how we stay on top. That's how we keep this life simple. That's how we recognize that the journey is complex, but this life was created simple. What's simple to do is also simple not to do. All right. So you got to be able to own what you can control. Some things are just out of our control. If they're out of our control, we can't do anything with it, but we can control ourselves. What do I say all the time? Be a good steward over your own soul. Steward your soul well, and then you can steward everything that comes to you. All right. So own what you can control. What's the best thing I can do to heal from this moving forward? Because remember, we got to keep getting up. The danger is not falling. The danger is not falling off the horse. The danger is if the horse turn around and you still on the ground and it stomp you. Okay? The fall is going to hurt. The fall will wound you. But the fall doesn't necessarily kill you. But stay on that ground wounded and get trampled on. All right? So we keep getting up. In the process of getting up, when we identify what's really going on, we take control. We take ownership of what we can control. All right? And we release the things that are out of our control. If you do not release it, bondage can come upon you. Self-sabotage, mentality, mindset, words can come upon you. All right. Now you become a victim to yourself, and that's even worse. All right. Then you want to make sure that you have accountability. You want to seek help. You want to seek support. We were never created to do this journey alone, but we are created to bear our own cross. Okay. No one can carry my cross for me. No one can walk out my purpose for me. No one can live my journey for me. But we're not to walk alone. We're not to be alone. We are community created beings. All right. We gain strength one from another. That's why it's good to have accountability. That's why you have to create safe places. Not a whole bunch of them. I don't know about you. I don't want a whole bunch of safe places because that's exhausting. All right. When you're wanting to be safe with someone, that's where you're wanting to be vulnerable. That's the community you want to be vulnerable in. Okay. That's the place where you're willing to peel back your layers. Imagine having to peel your layers back in all these different places. Ooh, thinking about it just made my head spin. All right. But all right. Also, you want to be careful in this space because for you, you don't want to allow bitterness to take root. This life happens for me, not to me. Okay? And I just want to stress this because if we stay in a victim posture, bitterness, resentment, all of that comes in our heart. in our heart. I'm talking about the heart at the belly button. Your spiritual heart is at the belly button. It's the connection of your spirit to your flesh. All right? I'm not talking about this heart. Your natural heart may ache. You may physically feel some aching. But when bitterness and resentfulness roots in us, it damages our heart. All right? Unforgiveness will keep us out of heaven. Unforgiveness will abort our paradise eternally. All right. We're doing all this so that our pain goes into our purpose. Because we're purposed. We're not pained. We feel pain, but we are not pained. Make sense? We're purposed. Every day is predestined and preordained because you are purpose. You think about some of the strongest people, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. They took their pain and made it purposeful. I'm even going to jump out there and say that there are many things that we go through that's not even for us. It's to help someone else. Jehovah God just knew that we were strong enough to carry it. Wow, that's deep. So listen, we got to learn how to take that pain and make it purposeful. Okay? My brother being executed, that was a painful situation, but I've created purpose out of that. Whole nother conversation. But listen, how do we get there? We've got to lean. We've got to lean on God's strength. You've got to, the only way we can do this is we got to learn to pull inward out, not outward in. We got to pull inward out, not outward in. We cannot stay reactive to situations. We cannot respond emotionally to situations. We've got to learn to have self-control long enough where we can pull inward out, not outward in. Because Satan wants to kill, steal, and destroy. And ultimately, it's your purpose. Because we can get somewhere he never can. But y'all do know that he has an appointed end too. Witches, warlocks, negative things. See, I'm going somewhere else. Bring me back, bring me back, bring me back. Listen, negative people and things in your life have an end date. We don't. We are eternal in glory. Okay? So even this negative, even this hell that tries to come and rob you on this journey, it has an appointed end time. That person, place, or thing that's trying to destroy you, I tell y'all, this is a fixed fight. And guess what? You win. God, I could go like, bring it back. Listen, we have to learn how to pull. This is why you got to stay joyful. The joy of the Lord, the joy of Jehovah God, let me be very clear, of Lord I'm speaking of. The joy of the Lord, the joy of Jehovah is our strength. Okay? No, Nicole, you expect me to be joyful after they violated me? Yep, I do. I do. And I believe you can. I'm not saying you're going to go and you're going to be, do you? Ooh, maybe that's why sometimes people have like a nervous laughter. You know, like stuff be going on and they just like, my sister's like that. Like it'll be something, and I'll be like, that's not funny. That's not funny. But I've had to learn, like, she doesn't know how to respond. So she just, I'm like, what? Right? But the joy of the Lord is our strength. Sometimes you got to look at that negative thing and laugh at it. You got to laugh at it. You got to keep joy, because where joy is, the peace that surpasses this natural understanding, they hang out. They're BFFs. Okay? So, meal prep Monday, because it's 10:23. I'm going to stop right there because I feel myself, you know, that I might already be over there. I'm trying to stay over here. Listen, I'm supernatural in this natural space and I love it. All right? Because when this journey begins to attack me or try to, I like going over. I used to tease my dad because my dad, boy, like he would sit somewhere and he just gaze off, you know, gazing off, and I'd be like, who you over there talking to? He talking about the other ones, right? It was a joke. But listen, I gaze off, all right? I gaze off because I'm supernatural in this natural space. And when things get to a point where they don't make sense to me, I can't focus on what I see. I got to focus on what I know. Call me cray cray if you want to. I don't care. I don't need people to understand here. All right. Meal prep Monday. Yeah. What do I want you to do? Remember that you are victorious. Remember, this is a fixed fight and we win. Okay. So anyone who saw last week, if you didn't see last week, go back to last week. All right. But if you saw last week, I definitely wanted to follow up this week because I never want anyone to feel like I'm insensitive to what they may have gone through or what trauma or, you know, things happen. We have been violated, disrespected, especially many people as children, because a lot of times things happen to us. We don't even realize it's a violation until we become older. And now you have this arrested development, as one of my mentors taught me. So in the spirit realm, we're stuck. So wherever that trauma hit us, if it was at 7 years old, there's a part of us in the spirit that has not been able to mature. There's no maturation in that place of trauma. Okay? Sometimes that's why you have grown folk that's real childish in certain areas. It's not because they're childish by nature. It's because in that space, they don't even know how to function because there was some form of trauma and they have not grown from that place. So whoever you thinking about right now, give them a little bit of grace. Start shifting your perspective and start looking at them from that lens. Sometimes they can be on point in some area. Well, no, this is all of us. We're on point in some areas because we're grown, but let somebody hit a trauma point. We respond like a kid because maybe in the spirit, you're still there. All right, let me stop. It's 10:26. Listen, Meal Prep Monday. I want you to remember that no matter what has happened, you are victorious. You just got to be able to recognize it. You got to stay in a reality. A lot of times things happen, we want to zone out. We can't zone out for our own sake. All right. We can't live delusional in this illusion. Okay. You've got to come to a reality and stay in reality. All right. You got to see what you've been through. You got to own it. And then you gotta lean on support. You got to keep accountability in your life because you have to peel those layers back. Know that everything is purposeful for you and it will help somebody. Your strength will come when you're able to pour it out, pull it out, take it out of you. Okay? That's how we stay victorious. And we got to go to who created us. We got to be a good steward over our own soul so that we can walk in our true identity, our true self, not the trauma, not the negativity, not the negative words that people have labeled us as. It's not your true identity. Okay? So I want you to stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. I'm not going to do anything with this recording but upload it today because there are points in here and I want you to go back to them, okay? I want you to go back to them because you have to know that I want to leave you with this. Every struggle has a lesson. Everything we go through, it has a lesson. So allow patience, perseverance, and or wisdom have its perfect work. Everything we go through, patience, perseverance, or wisdom is being perfected in you. So stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. Be the best version of you unapologetically because no one else can do it. And you are relevant. You are necessary. You are needed. No one can do what you do better than you. All right? So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.